Hey everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to dive into a little bit of a math work. Some students let me know that this is still in the beginning of their learning curve and they like to understand a bit more from a theoretical perspective. How does it work when we're trying to fit a model, right? In this video, we're going to be talking about a little bit of a mathematical derivation regarding how to find the ordinary least square estimator for simple linear regression. Let's write our title, find OLS estimator for simple linear regression. And this is going to be a step-by-step procedure, and we're going to write out what we mean by the derivation work. So first things first is we need to have some sort of setup. Here I say setup, and then we need to define some sort of model. So the model here, you can think about it as a basic linear regression model. So the y is your dependent variable, and then you have beta zero, that's the constant or the intercept term, and then you have beta one, that's the linear coefficient, and then you have the independent variables xi, and then you have a little bit of a noise, right? The information that is not captured by the model. So this is the basic setup. Obviously, where the I is the tracking index. So it can be 1, 2, so on and so forth to n, where n is the sample size. And then the error, you can call this epsilon. This term is going to be IID. So this is the current setup. Now, with this setup being said, we can then talk about the objective function. The objective function, we define that as sum of square. So we define sum of square to be the following. Here we're going to actually call sum of squared residuals. So it's a sum, right? So we're going to call this S, and then the parameters, it's going to be beta 0 and beta 1, because those are the parameters that you are able to control, right? And then the formula for this objective function is going to be sum I from 1 to n. And because it's a tracking index, right? So this sum basically tracks the I from 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to n. And then it's the formulation of sum of squares. So we're talking about residual. Residual means error. So something like yi, that's a ground truth, subtract beta 0, subtract beta 1, and xi. Now we're talking about square terms, so this need to be squared. So we can grab this terminologies here, and then we can basically put the parentheses just like that. And then you put a square. So that is the formula for sum of square. So now the goal is simple, right? The goal is basically you want to minimize this S term. So beta 0 and beta 1. So that is your goal. And then this minimization, you can control beta 0 and beta 1 in this objective function. That's basically the setup. Now, the way to do this is to take first order derivative, right? We're also known as partial derivative. Here we say first order derivatives. So the way to do this is you're going to have to look at partial terms. So fraction, and then we say partial s, and then partial beta 0. So that is one formula we have to figure out what that is, right? So question mark. And then that next step is with respect to beta 1. So this formulation, right? What we're trying to do is we're trying to say, hey, this S, the objective function, when it's making marginal changes, what is the marginal change with respect to beta 0? Well, that's what it's doing, right? So here is when calculus comes in. So how it works is we are taking derivative of this term here on the right-hand side. So 2 comes out, so you have a 2 up front, and then inside of it, you are taking derivative with respect to beta 0. So how it works is it's going to look like something like this. So minus 2 sum still it's the same, right? From 1 to n. And then you have your y I beta 0, beta 1, xi, close parenthesis. And then you are setting this to be 0. And the reason you want to set this to be 0 is because when you're solving for the optimal solution, then you are at an area where this changes, it's no longer be changing, right? So that's the optimal area. And you want to find a solution that solve that equation, right? So that's one thing that we have to set up. And then obviously we do the same with respect to beta 1. So the minus 2 comes up, summation stays the same, and then the xi come out because of chain rule. And then whatever stays inside of the parentheses obviously stays the same. So those are the two functions that we have. Now you can kind of call it conditions because you have two equations, two unknown, right? So here, say taking partial uh, derivatives and set them to 0. So that's what that looks like. Now you can find your normal equations, right? So here we're going to find normal equations, and the goal is to simplify them, right? So you look at the formula, and then you're like, oh, the sum from I from 1 to n, that's yi, because that's the first term here, right? And then the beta has nothing to do with this tracking index, right? So if it's an n term, then there's n of beta zeros. So n beta zeros, beta 1, and then sum the same tracking index, it's going to be xi. So this actually becomes y bar because you can take the left term and divide it by n, right? And you do the same thing with right-hand side. So that becomes y bar. And then the beta 0 is derived because n disappears, right? Because n divided by n is just 1. And then beta 1 x bar. So that's our first equation. And then now we can simplify a second one. This will give us something look like this because of chain rule. So obviously you have to write this out. Sum I from 1 to n, xi, yi. And then now the right-hand side is the beta 0 come out because it's a constant. And then the xi obviously goes with the sum. So you have sum I from 1 to n, xi. Our next term is beta 1 comes out. I from 1 to n, xi square. So now you have your two equation. So now this is the two equation, and you just solve for the unknowns, right? So here we say solve for uh, unknowns. So this is where you put the two equations together, and then you try to basically take the first equation, which is this guy here, right? This y bar, and then you are writing the y bar into the second equation. And then in doing so, right, in doing so, you'll be able to figure out a solution that looks like the following. So let me write it out here. Beta 1. No, not this is actually an estimate, right? So we have a hat here. Beta 1 hat. Let's not forget that. And then that looks a little weird. So I am going to put this here. Hopefully this solves the problem a little bit. Okay. This actually is going to be a giant fraction. So you have a sum xi minus x bar and yi minus y bar. And then below you have sum xi x bar square. So that's your first solution. Now you have your second solution, which is y hat, beta 0. And then here you have a solution to be y bar, hat, beta 1, x bar. So that's the final solution if you solve for these two equations that we set up, right? And then once you solve it, you realize that beta 0 and beta 1 actually carry this kind of formula. And then one thing that's interesting about this beta 1 is actually beta 1 actually becomes the following. So we can rewrite um, estimate for beta 1 to be the following, right? So we say hat beta 1 actually becomes the covariance of xy divided by variance of x. Because the summation xi minus x bar squared, this is just the variance. And then the one on the numerator is actually covariance. So something like that is actually very interesting. And the solution carries a lot of characteristics, right? Um, so this is how you set things up and how you solve the problem. So now let's like recap everything. First things first, you have a model. So it's a lot of assumptions here that we're making, right? It's a linear association. There's no nonlinearity. There's no power terms whatsoever. The error is IID, right? These are all assumptions. Beta 1 and xi is linearly associated with yi. Xi has to be independent, right? So we're making a lot of assumptions. And the objective function is also well defined, right? So, you have to take parentheses, you have to take square, you have to use one, subtract the other, right? These are all well defined. And then based on these constraints, we can then solve it, right? So you solve the first order, and then you set up two equations, two unknown, and then you can solve beta 1 estimate and beta 0 estimate. So that's pretty much it to reason out. Given the problem statement, what does it mean, right, when we say using statistical framework to understand the best solution? So this kind of formality is what we mean from a statistical background, from a statistical sense. Uh, so there you go. Hopefully this short video give you a little bit of a mathematical derivation, and then hopefully you enjoy and you can appreciate this kind of framework to get to the problem from some sort of setup, right? And then today's most of the neural network model pretty much follows mean square error, pretty much follows this kind of formality. And then this first order condition, you can use that to do your gradient descent. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.